Hello and a warm welcome to this special presentation on Hindustan Times Blue Corner, the show where we dissect Team India's performance in the ongoing ICC World Cup and of course look forward to each and every match that the team plays. My name is Arnab. I'm the sports editor of Hindustan Times Digital and I have with me Rudraneil Sengupta, National Sports Editor, Hindustan Times. Rudra, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Arnab.
Right. So, on agenda today, of course, is the upcoming match between India and Australia. But before that, we'll do a quick wrap of India's performance in the first match. One match played, one match won. Quite a few positives. Your take?
Absolutely, lots of positives from the match. Of course, Rohit Sharma being the biggest one of them. Fabulous innings, very patient, very calm. A good sense of the game awareness, right? Of the way the pitch was behaving, of the strengths of the bowling, and he played to that his own strengths, and he restrained himself and took India to the victory. Of course, the bowling attack, India's wanted bowling attack. India went into this World Cup. Probably the first World Cup India has gone into with a bowling attack that's supposed to be more potent than its batting attack. Absolutely. And it proved itself on that day.
But talking a little bit about Rohit Sharma, I think what's important is that in a game like this, when you've already given quite a few chances, it's important to make the most of it. When the opposition has given you 3 chances, you make the most of it. As you said, great game awareness. Did not play like the Rohit Sharma that we know him of. Pretty much like a Formula 1 driver in a Bengaluru jam.
Absolutely.
So I think this augurs well for India.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the guy who's the big 6 hitter, right? He's hit. If I remember my stats correctly, he's hit 23 more sixes than Sachin has ever hit in his career.
23 more.
Probably 100 more than Virat Kohli.
Right.
So he's a big game guy, and we have also seen from the way he constructs his innings. He usually starts a little slow. He takes his time to settle in. He'll get to his first 50 in about 60 odd balls. Then the next 50 will come run a ball. And after that, it's
Explodes.
all hell breaks loose, right?
Quickly touching upon the 2 vital innings which didn't blossom into big knocks, but then KL Rahul making an impression at number 4, crucial partnership with Rohit Sharma, and of course MS Dhoni again showing the MS Dhoni 2.0 that we are talking about. Again taking India to the brink of victory, would have liked to stay on. So 2 vital knocks again coming ahead of the big match against Australia.
Right. I'm a big MS Dhoni fan. Okay, whether he whether he gets to keep his insignia on his gloves or not doesn't really matter.
Right.
Big Dhoni fan. He's such an ambassador for the game. Wonderful player, wonderful man, calm on the field. Sets the field for Kohli, and Kohli obviously takes his help.
That's the best part about Kohli, I think. Whatever the media is talking about, he doesn't care. He just wants to win, and wherever he gets help from, he'll take it.
And that's how a team should work,
right.
And they have a wonderful partnership going. And of course, Dhoni has really shown a lot of courage to adapt his game to his, to what obviously naturally happens when you cross a certain age. You start to lose your hand-eye coordination a bit. You start to lose that raw reflex that he had, and he's adapted his game.
Important word you use there, adapting, because we just saw a TV capsule on the host broadcaster where it said that Dhoni apparently has asked for 2 different kind of bats. Right. Because he was being bowled wide outside the off stump. Right. So he now has a bat which is 10 to 20 grams lighter, so that he can go for those big hits which he's known for, which he's doing since the Australia tour. And of course, the sweet spot is lower down. Right. So that, if he's bowled outside the off stump, then he can connect and that goes for 6. So I think amazing game awareness again.
Yeah, always thinking about the game, all the time thinking about little things that he can do, and he keeps improving, because of that, which is it's wonderful. And so I'm a Dhoni fan, and I think he's going to do really well. As for KL Rahul, when he was brought into the side, he was not meant to be the number 4. He was supposed to be a backup opener, which was we had done a lot of stories, I remember back then, about the number 4 problem, and that in England you will need a proper batsman to be at number 4. Vijay Shankar is not going to cut it, and it seems like the Indian team management, Kohli, Dhoni, I think they have also kind of figured that okay, we need a guy who knows how to play his shots.
We've spoken about the positives in terms of batting. We'll talk about bowling in one of our segments later. Let's now talk about the India versus Australia match in our first segment, the battle. All right, we talk about the big match, the big Sunday blockbuster between India and Australia. Rudraneil, head to head, there's no match. India has won 3, Australia has won 8. but this is a new team. Australia are hitting their strides. 10 matches, 10 victories on the bounce. Big test for India.
Absolutely, big test for India. In fact, the last match wasn't that big a test for India because, as we have found out, South Africa really struggling, and this is going to be the big test. And you spoke about the head-to-head, and I think, despite Australia's better record, and you can counter that by saying that India has transformed itself, and right now probably over the past few years probably the number one the team to beat at this World Cup, but I think they're very equally matched. I think it's going to be a great contest, and we have seen this World Cup hasn't really been the run fest that we thought it was going to be. Flat wickets, everybody's going to go for a 500 score. Hasn't happened. In fact, it's been a really good and equal
contest between bat and ball.
Absolutely, really balanced, and that keeps everybody on the toes, right? It's not just that the batsmen can go out and throw their bat and get to this huge score.
Just taking cue from what you're saying, traditionally it's been a battle between India's batsmen versus Australia's bowlers. Do you think it's going to be the same? But India also has a great bowling attack this time around. So how do you see this panning out?
To answer your first question, absolutely. It's going to be a very interesting battle, especially I think in the opening 10 or 15 overs between India's top three and Mitchell Starc and the Aussie pace attack. Because we all know that India's top three, they are the ones who win in the other matches. Whether India is doing well or badly, since Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, they get their runs. 2016 we lost the series in Australia. They got centuries almost every game. One of them had a century. Shikhar has brilliant record in ICC tournaments in England. Kohli, of course, is unstoppable. He got out early in the last match. Doesn't mean a thing. He's going to bounce back. Sharma again, already done well, and he can continue to build on that. So I think it will be key for Australia to get in there in those first 10 overs because that, and if India bats first, of course, Australia will expect movement because the matches are starting a little bit early than usual, than it usually does in England, which means that you've got that about half an hour or 40 minutes of a good cloud cover usually. Almost every match we're seeing that, which gives you a good movement for the ball, and that's going to be crucial. If you can get the top three out quickly enough, cheaply enough, India will be in big trouble.
Just talking about the middle overs, as far as India's bowling is concerned, how crucial would that be? 20 overs to 40 overs where your two spinners are expected to operate, where your fifth bowler, Hardik Pandya, did well in the last match, but then Australia have got better batsmen, they could go for him. How crucial would the 20 to 40 over be for Australia in terms of batting and India in terms of bowling?
Well, it depends on whether they can pick Chahal or not. Right. He's been quite the revelation. He's bowled really beautifully, and as he was revealed the other day in an interview that he used to be a chess player, a junior chess champion, and he says that he still thinks in terms of chess, that he's not just thinking 5 or 6 balls ahead. Sometimes he's thinking 10 or 12 balls ahead on how to set up a batsman, what are the moves he's going to make, and what are the consequences that it can have, what are the outcomes that can come from there, and in his adapting throughout. So it'll be key for Australia whether they can pick Chahal or not. Who are the left-handed batsmen in Australia?
Khwaja is there. Alex Carey is there. Carey played really well in the last match. Carey
played really well. Khwaja, of course,
Warner,
I think is brilliant. Warner, maybe he might not survive till then.
We really hope that.
But Khwaja will be absolutely key.
He really played really well on Indian tracks against spinners in the series right before IPL.
If he's in there, he's going to pick Chahal. He's going to be comfortable with that, and and it might depend on him.
Khwaja is the danger man then, Rudraneil is saying, and very rightly, because he had a great series against India on surfaces when the ball was spinning. He spoke about the Chahal story. Let me just quickly plug in. HT Read Blue is our hashtag on every India match day. Hindustan Times, the newspaper, goes blue. You will find exclusive articles from our correspondents who are traveling. Aditya is following India. Somshubro Laha is following the other teams. Do come to Hindustan Times, the newspaper. Look out for all the exclusive news which is being done. And if you are on mobile, of course, come to hindustantimes.com. There's a full World Cup coverage which is going on. There is scorecard, ball-by-ball updates, live blog, all that you want. You'll get on hindustantimes.com and the newspaper as well. Okay, fine. Advertisement done. Moving on now. We will go now to our next segment, which is the batsman to watch out for. batsmen to watch out for then. We know the Indian batsmen who will do the usual suspects. Let's talk about the Australians who might make an impact in this match.
I think the Australian batting lineup is devastatingly good. They are really deep. They've got Rudraneil coming in at number 8, and you saw the way he played against West Indies, smashing the West Indies bowlers around. So really deep batting lineup, and so you can never be sure. Even if you get their top 3 out quickly, okay, it doesn't matter. You've got somebody to step up. And talking about the top 3, David Warner having an absolutely great comeback. He's come back and he started off from where he left off.
Had a great IPL, but somehow he's not been able to transform that for Australia. Even in the warm-up matches, does the format really matter that much? Of course it does, but then I'm pressure of coming back, lots of people booing him. Yeah. Is he the same player?
I think he thrives on that. And I think it may be just a matter of time, because he's in good touch. You can see by the way he played in the IPL that he's reading bowlers well. He's got his range of shots. He's fit. He's driven. He has a lot to prove. So
did really well against Afghanistan. Was picking Rashid.
Yeah.
And helped playing in the IPL, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got everything going for him. It's probably just a little bit of a matter of settling in, in a sense. Which again, Steve Smith, for example, is doing quite well as well. Very composed, very calm. Also seems unaffected by and we've seen all the mental frailty issues that he has faced. He seems to have come back stronger. Seems to be more composed. Seems to be less bothered about what's happening around him. And more concentrating more on cricket. And of course, we know that he's naturally one of the most gifted batsmen the game has ever seen.
All right, we've spoken about the batsmen who could matter in this match now. Moving on to the next segment, bowlers to watch out for. Bowlers to watch out for, talent. Both teams full of talent, but it is the new ball which is going to matter, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Who's your pick?
Mitchell Starc, Jasprit, Bumrah, both of them are going to do well. And in fact, Trent Boult was saying the other day, he said that the Kookaburra ball that they're using now, apparently it has a bit more lacquer on it, which is helping the bowlers get a bit more movement. It is possible that this is the reason why we saw Bhuvaneshwar Kumar being picked ahead of Shami, because he's got a little bit more movement in his game. And so yeah, I mean, it's been a thrill to watch actually, bowlers operating in English conditions where there's a bit of swing under the cloud.
But I think Oval's going to be a flat track. It has been like probably, that, and that is why Starc and Bumrah might matter, because of the extra pace.
Yes, extra pace, extra bounce.
Right.
Absolutely, and that could really work to their favor. Of course, you have seen West Indies using the short ball to great effect. Okay. And Jasprit Bumrah in his first World Cup match looked like
that first over to de Kock. I mean, that set the tone for the match, I guess.
Absolutely, like just steaming in. He has the movement. He has the length. He's got pace and bounce. He's got everything. He's a complete package.
Let me ask you a trick question. Both of us were very young to see Kapil Dev live in action, but then if he goes on the way he's going on, perhaps the best fast bowler to have come out of India.
Who can say? But at the moment, performance-wise, he's just really
across formats, I guess.
Yeah, doing brilliantly well, and he knows how to do it. It's not just about the raw pace. Right. He's got the control. He's thinking about the batsman. He's looking at weaknesses. Right. He's setting batsmen up. He's
a thinking cricketer.
Thinking cricketer.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Starc and Bumrah then, the picks for the bowlers to watch out for. We'll move on now to the big battle of the match. Rudraneil, we've already touched upon it. I guess you mentioned it in the initial chat. Let's elaborate on it. You think it is going to be the new ball bowlers of Australia versus the top 3?
Absolutely. India's top 3 versus new ball bowlers. See, because if India lose their top 3 easily, then Australia knows that we don't have really that depth in batting.
2017 final, Amir did the same.
Yeah.
At the same venue.
Exactly.
Champions
Good
Trophy.
point. Excellent. Right. Yeah. And you've got KL Rahul untested at number 4, still struggling to find his feet. Right. MS Dhoni, of course, but what can he do on his own?
Right.
And Kedar Jadhav, again, we don't
coming out of an injury, you really don't know how much he can go.
We don't know how much he can go. And then after that, it's over.
Right.
Yeah, there's no more batting left in
Hardik
India.
Pandya, he doesn't consider Pandya as a batsman.
I missed him. Sorry. Thank you for pointing out. But yes,
But
Pandya.
but how much?
But how much?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the
The
question.
bulk of the runs, 50 for our viewers, 52% of the runs since the last World Cup have been scored by the top three.
Excellent. That statistic says it all. 52% of the runs scored by the top three. Right? They've had a fabulous time since 2015, since the last World Cup. They've just become, I think, the best top three in the world. And so, this is the key for Australia, to get these three batsmen out. And then they know that, even if Hardik Pandya comes in and does a bit of a heroic act, how long can he sustain it? You see 75 runs, 3 wickets down, India will be in trouble.
All right, prediction time then. Pick one.
I'm going to lose money India.
India?
Yeah.
All right. The show is called Blue Corner. We both have to pick India. So we are both picking India. But yeah, there's reason behind it and not just fervor. India has been playing well, and we hope that all the nuts and bolts come together and the winning machine continues. Thank you very much.
Close match. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Rudraneil. Thanks a lot for watching.